Greetings in love and light of the one infinite creator. I'm Andrii Zvorygin, and I'm joined by Fred, Adam, Amy, and Dan. And we're doing a potluck session of different topics. We've already discussed some about the banishing ritual, and we were just talking about forgiveness in depth. All right. So, did you want to resume? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Go ahead, Fred.
Um, Green Ray Energy Center in connection with creation. Quote, the qualities of the Green Ray Energy Center of the heart and are intended to, and are indeed the salvation of this illusion. For each entity comes here to work in some degree upon the heart. This is the energy center through which connections with all creation is possible. Explanation. The Green Ray Energy Center is the heart chakra, which is the center of love, compassion, and empathy. This center is essential for the seeker to connect with others and ultimately with all of creation. It is through the heart chakra that one aligns with the highest spiritual frequencies of love and connection, which are the salvation in this illusory reality. Salvation here refers not to a rescue from some external force, but the liberation of the individual's consciousness through love and heart-centered understanding. The illusion mentioned is the physical world, an illusion of separation, where entities perceive themselves as isolated from one another and from the divine. Through the activation and opening of the heart, this illusion of separation begins to dissolve, and the seeker experiences a deeper connection with the greater whole, the one creator. This heart-centered connection enables individuals to live in harmony with others and with the world around them. By practicing love and compassion, we align ourselves with the underlying unity of all creation. The ongoing process of relationship and evolution. Quote, as each of you moves through your daily rounds of activities, making those small adjustments each to the other in compassion and understanding, you continue this process that has been ongoing through the entire length of your relationship and which shall be the strength and foundation as your relationship continues into what you call your future. Explanation. Quo suggests that relationships are ongoing processes of adjustment, learning, and growth. Each individual in their daily interactions makes small adjustments like aligning to the other person's perspective, offering understanding, or demonstrating compassion. These seemingly small, mundane actions build the foundation for deeper, more meaningful relationships. Over time, these adjustments accumulate and the relationship itself becomes stronger and more resilient. As each person continues to open their heart, the bond becomes a mutual support system for spiritual evolution. This ongoing process is the key to long-term spiritual growth within relationships. It is through these relational dynamics that we refine our abilities to love unconditionally, forgive, and accept.
Did you
That's
want to talk about something for now? Yeah. Okay.
yeah. That last paragraph. Um, I think we, we can all see ourselves doing that, and we don't really realize what we're doing. So what that tells me is that every time we are getting to know somebody, what you're doing is you're aligning your understanding of how that person views the world so that you can relate to them better and be able to more effectively offer things like compassion or friendship or forgiveness, whatever is needed, wherever it's needed. Is that pretty concise?
Uh, here. Does anyone else want to reflect on it, Dan?
Yeah, and the way you said it, Fred, the way I read it originally, I felt like I was talking about couple relationships, but it could mean anybody, right? Like as long as you have like a working partner, a friend, or something like that, you both can awaken up together just by, just being more open and, kind of feeding off each other, right? That's what the paragraph's about. That was my thoughts.
So how I understood it is I take it in the context of these last two paragraphs, is that these ongoing processes of adjustments, like alignments to the other person, and these are like little acts of grace and kindness, and it's these little acts accumulate, and that makes the relationship stronger. So like little acts of kindness add up to improving the relationship overall. That's how I understood it. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Should we go on? No. Okay. Hold on.
Can you? Oh, there you go. Okay. The expansion of understanding through relationships. Quote, there is much understanding with each of you has developed for the other and for the other self because of your relationship to each other. Well, that's confusing. Explanation. Through relationship, seekers develop not only understanding for one another, but also for all other selves. As individuals learn to understand their partner, friend, or family member, they simultaneously increase their capacity to understand humanity as a whole. Relationships become the training ground for universal empathy. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
This expansion of understanding is a key aspect of spiritual evolution. It opens the heart, allowing the seeker to move beyond personal biases, judgments, and separations. It deepens the wisdom of the heart and enables a more profound connection to the divine love that permeates all of creation. That
Mm-hmm.
kind of points to why it's not always good to be a hermit, I guess. You have to interact with other people in order to get catalyst to have that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It makes me
True.
oh yeah, it makes me think about my previous marriage. God, if I knowing what I know today, if I could, work on that relationship, yeah, I could see it. Like if I could definitely grow from that relationship and not divorce, and if we could, be more open, that's definitely a training ground, I guess, for the rest of the world, because you know nothing can be so difficult than like a failing marriage and kind of fixing it. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that's how I kind of read that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for me that my most difficult relationship is with my spouse. You know, like I may have some complicated feelings about like some foreign politicians or something, or even local. Well, like in the same country as me, but they pale in comparison to the complexity of the relationship with my wife. And while it certainly has the potential for great joy as well, but it definitely takes like a lot of work, and a lot of people don't seem to realize it. And that's one of the things that the Confederation says, is that it's not meant to be all rosy and nice. It's meant to help you grow, and you're two diamonds in the rough that are so close to each other that you're like scraping like really hard, and you're taking off each other's impurities, and that's a painful process. And so, and because you've been together for so long, the ways that you might be able to get around it with someone that you recently met, your spouse can see through those because they've seen it before. They know what this is about. They know that this is just a ploy, or this is just an act, or whatever. So you can't trick them, and that makes it so much more powerful. A scraping.
And that also is part of the reason why when people display certain traits like narcissistic personality disorder, where they get hell-bent on attacking someone personally after they've been in a relationship with them, is because that's the person that knows them the best. And they, will actually cause tremendous amounts of problem with one specific person, because that person knows all their little tricks and things that they do, and has seen the behind the scenes acts. So, when you see people in a relationship and one person is attacking, it's a symptom of that. I don't want anyone to know who I am, is basically what it comes down to. And I just saw this the other day. It was correlated in who was it? It was a psychotherapist was talking about this. They were talking about MPD, but that fits this perfectly. When you are doing that in a relationship, that's what's happening. You're learning the intimate workings of another person's psychology. And for some people that's comforting, and for some people that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that if you're on the service to others path, then it should be comforting. It's the people that are on the service to self path who are hiding because they're doing, bad stuff that would be concerned. Whereas, if it's like your service to others, like what are they gonna say? It's like, I remember, one of the worst things my wife could say about me was that I'm what do you call it? God's gift to humanity. It's like, well, that's not so bad. All right. So, should we read on? Yeah. Okay. Conclusion.
Conclusion. In the passage, Quo beautifully articulates how relationships serve as essential environments for spiritual growth and evolution. Through mutual awakening, seekers learn to practice the qualities of the heart: compassion, love, understanding, forgiveness, and acceptance. These qualities are the heart of the spiritual path, for they open up the way to unity with the Creator and all of creation. The ongoing process of relationship, in which small adjustments are made daily, allows for the cultivation of these divine attributes, leading to the healing of self, others, and the world. Ultimately, relationships are not just about personal connection, but are powerful catalysts for the expansion of spiritual understanding and the dissolution of the illusion of separation.
Great.
I think it's very important to re-emphasize that very first sentence. It's let's go back to this. Through mutual awakening. That very first, right there. Through mutual awakening. That is very important. The whole rest of that paragraph is, you can throw it in the trash if you are not mutually awakening. I'm serious.
But it's just, the thing is that the mutual awakening, basically, I don't think we can use it as a way of escaping from our own duty, because the mutual awakening,
no.
she meant, or they mentioned it earlier, that is the process of kind of getting to here. Mutual awakening that happens between individuals, particularly in relationships, when people come together, especially those who may not completely understand each other's paths, they engage in an awakening process that is reciprocal. So just like two people getting together who don't completely understand each other, that is the mutual awakening process.
I got you. I thought it meant mutually coming to the understanding of unity with the Creator through opening your heart chakra.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean that, at least in this context. But you are correct that the mutual seeking the creator is essential for forming a social memory complex. And I mean, ideally, you would be doing that in, many of your relationships, including your marital one, but going to church as well. That's ideally what those are for. Worshiping God together. All right. So, Amy had to go answer the door, and I think there was more to it. We just got bogged down on the first part. Here, forgiveness as a process of transformation. Go ahead.
Quote, and so the first act of forgiveness can be likened to the beginning of a scab, shall we say, and thus we say on that act of forgiveness is placed upon another act of forgiveness, and another, and another. And it can seem as if this process is truly never ending. Insight. Forgiveness is a gradual, continuous process of healing like a scab that eventually heals into a scar. The act of forgiving is layered, eventually transforming the wounds into memories of growth and joy. The purpose of forgiving the self. Quote, you are forgiving the imperfections of the self, which an imperfect world was formed on purpose to cause you to feel. Not to forgive an imperfect self, and that is the surface self of each, is to deny that there is more, and that more is a divine mystery which we may only call love. Insight. To forgive oneself is to embrace the imperfections inherent in the human experience. This acceptance allows for deeper growth, recognizing that the true self is more than the surface self. It is a reflection of divine love. Forgiveness and the heart's evolution. Quote, each entity comes here to work in some degree upon the heart. This is the energy center through which connection with all the creation is possible. Compassion, unconditional love, mercy, and understanding. Forgiveness, surrender, and acceptance. These are the qualities of the Green Ray Energy Center of the heart and are indeed the salvation of this illusion.
Mm-hmm. It's how to get out of the third density cycle.
Yeah. Insight. Forgiveness is integral to the opening and healing of the heart. It is through forgiveness that we cultivate the qualities necessary for spiritual evolution, allowing us to connect with all of creation in love and compassion. Forgiveness and the collective healing of humanity. Quote, forgiveness, mercy, understanding, and so forth may be injected into the peoples of the various geographical vicinities of the planet, thus strengthening the bond that each is aware of at some level of the life experience. Insight. Forgiveness is not only a personal practice, but a collective one. As individuals forgive, they contribute to the healing of the collective consciousness, fostering peace, unity, and the dissolution of separation. Forgiveness is the key to accepting imperfection. Quote, the goal of the seeker is not to make the voice go away, but to be able to accept it and continue to live the life, and then becoming able to forgive the self and the other selves also to greater extents. Forgiveness enables acceptance of both self and others in their imperfections. It is through this acceptance that true growth occurs, as it allows one to live fully in the face of difficulties and imperfections. The role of forgiveness in spiritual unity. Quote, the purpose of incarnation is not to avoid either the tears or the laughter, either the sorrow or the joy. We ask you to love, accept, and forgive yourselves, and be brave and bold enough to open and allow the healing of the self, the healing of memories, the healing of the incarnation. Insight. Forgiveness plays a central role in embracing the full spectrum of human experience. It allows us to heal memories and past traumas, facilitating the soul's growth and leading to greater unity with the one creator.
Great. This is the last paragraph here.
Forgiveness is not simply a moral act. It is a spiritual necessity. It heals the self by allowing the heart to open, inviting compassion, understanding, and unconditional love to flow through. By forgiving, we transcend the surface level wounds and touch the deeper truth of our divine nature. Each act of forgiveness, whether toward ourselves or others, is an act of spiritual liberation, releasing the illusions of separation and opening the way for unity, peace, and healing both within and throughout the greater creation.
All right, great. So I hope that answers your original question of about the forgiveness,
Yeah, so
the purpose of forgiveness.
kind of what I suspected to begin with, where forgiving others is not really more about the other as it is about you.
Yes, exactly. You benefit the most from practicing forgiveness. It
Well,
doesn't
and you
ma-
know what? I see that full flat out, because being able to forgive somebody in a way that, like, you are totally okay with the way things played out, because you understand that universally is like what you were talking about, when you're two people together rubbing in each other like that, you're going to cause friction, and that friction catalyzes something. Something's going to happen. Either you're going to go left or right, and that process is what puts you on the path that you choose. You choose how to react. You choose how to handle the situation. You can either close down and be like, screw you, I hate everybody, I hate the world, I hate God, I hate everything. Or you can reflect and actually understand in some capacity. You don't have to be a spiritual activated person to understand the connectedness that we have with everything, and to be okay with the way something happened, as understanding it from a point of um, just learning things through life with Catalyst. If you can view things a little more big picture, it makes it a lot easier to do things like that, including forgiveness. Forgiveness is just one thing. That seems to have helped me getting getting as big of a big picture of things as you possibly can, to see not just that interconnectedness, but that it's a show. It's all a play. And to see that every single thing is connected in a whole systems way makes it a lot easier. At least it did for me.
Yeah, everything is connected in a whole systems way, and forgiveness is one of those keys to unlocking the heart, as they were saying. And also, in learning to forgive, we learn that the creator is in everything and everyone. Because part of that forgiveness process is understanding why, or it can be understanding why, or it can be forgiving it and having the faith that there is a reason. And then you kind of understand more of the creation, and that it's okay for people to be different, to have different points of views and things like that, and that it actually enriches the creation, because often people get upset because it wasn't the way they expected it to be. That's the number one reason why people get upset. It's because their expectations were either unmet, or it's different than they expected. And so, just being gentle with ourselves and our expectations can greatly help in that respect as well. All right. So, did we want to dive more into forgiveness, or does someone else have another question they're interested in? We still have another 24 minutes. 23 minutes now.
I think we've kind of exhausted forgiveness.
Fair enough.
Well,
Fair enough.
at least for me, I don't know. We're losing. We got people dropping like flies. We lost Ed and Amy. So
Well, Ed's battery ran out, and Amy had to answer the door, so she has a visitor. That's why. How about Adam? Adam, you haven't asked the potluck question today. Are you still there, Adam? Adam may have left as well. Oh, there he is.
you're muted, Adam.
Or we can't hear you. Try saying something. No, we can't hear you. Oh, okay. He's going to rejoin.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
There
I
we
can
go.
hear you now. Great, Adam. So tell us, what's your question?
Yeah, I have a question about anchoring. Like, what does it mean to anchor? When should we be anchoring ourselves?
Good
Like,
question.
tell me more about anchoring.
Anchor. Hold on. I'm just compiling the quotes right now. I'll put it into the group view. Okay. And anchoring actually only has a few quotes. All right. So we'll dive into anchoring. Okay, now make likewise blog posts for anchoring. All right. Adam, did you want to read it, or you want someone to read it for you?
I can read.
Okay, go ahead.
So, in the summary,
Mm-hmm.
in the spiritual journey, anchoring serves as a foundational practice for grounding higher energies, vibrations, and purpose into daily life. Whether it is anchoring the vibration of unconditional love, holding space for others, or embodying stability during times of change, this concept resonates deeply across the metaphysical teachings. Anchoring allows speakers to bring the infinite into the finite, turning the intangible spiritual energies into actionable, grounded realities. From helping to transition planetary energies to recognizing soul level connections, the process of anchoring is vital to individual and collective spiritual growth. This blog explores the profound meanings and practices of anchoring as revealed in the teachings of the Confederation. So, what is anchoring? The original vibration, then, is the reality within every illusion which you experience. This anchoring vibration can be overlaid by any number of vibratory complexes, for each receives an unending supply of the pure vibration of love, that is, moving energy of the cosmos. Anchoring begins with the fundamental vibration of love, which is the essence of creation itself. This vibration flows through every part of existence, but it enters our minds, bodies, and spirits. It takes on a unique expression based upon personal distortions, thoughts, and intentions. The practice of anchoring involves consciously working with this vibration, grounding it to the physical world through thoughts, actions, and states of being. The role of anchoring in daily life. It has puzzled, confused, and baffled many, that which the dreams of the heart are to serve by noble and outwardly respected means, that the eyes open to the situation at hand. It consists indeed of cleaning a bathroom, washing the dishes, cooking the meals, chopping wood, and carrying water. Anchoring is not limited to grand gestures or monumental spiritual feats. It is often expressed in the humble but repetitive actions of daily life. Through these ordinary activities, seekers can bring divine energies into mundane tasks, transforming them into sacred expressions of service. When grounded in love, even the simplest actions like cleaning, cooking, or supporting others become opportunities to change higher vibrations into the material world. Anchoring as connection to soul resonance. There are entities and groups whom's as soul your your soul stream has made agreements, anchoring, safety, intimacy, and nurturing. In addition to anchoring energy, individuals also act as spiritual anchors for one another within relationships, families, or spiritual communities. There is often soul level resonance that brings individuals together for mutual support and growth. These relationships provide a sense of home and grounding, offering a space where safety, intimacy, and nurturing can flourish. In these interactions, seekers may anchor both their own energy and the shared resonance of the group. Planetary anchoring and holding space for Gaia. The balancing energy that is critical at the time in anchoring the love and the light of the one infinite creator. For this passage of Gaia is the goddess energy. At a planetary level, anchoring involves stabilizing and grounding the immense influx of fourth density energies that is increasingly available. The goddess energy is one example of the feminine aspect of creation that provides nourishing, stabilizing presence during Earth's transition. For more traffic upon that bridge and the more guardians that stand watch along the bridge, holding and anchoring the incoming light of fourth density and on the one hand, and acknowledging, honoring, and blessing the waning light of third density. On the other hand, the fuller the harvest may be. Anchoring also supports a metaphysical bridge between third and fourth densities. Those who consciously hold space for this transition assist in balancing and harmonizing these energies of the planetary shift. The collective work helps create a smoother and more inclusive transition for all beings. Anchoring and stabilizing in the spiritual work. It was decided that those of Hatan could aid best this evening by anchoring the contact in your instrument by somewhat stepping down the voltage. Anchoring can also serve as a stabling force in the spiritual work, whether through personal meditation, channeling, or group efforts. For instance, entities like Hatan may step down higher frequency energies to help human instruments remain stable and receptive during spiritual contact. In this way, anchoring prevents energetic overwhelming and allows seeker to integrate their higher energies more effectively into the physical and spiritual systems. Practical ways for anchoring energy: mindfulness, presence. Be fully present in your daily activities, even in routine tasks, while holding an intention of love and service. Grounding practices. Engage in grounding exercise like walking barefoot on the earth, meditating with visualization of roots connecting you to the planet, or working with grounding crystals. Service to others. Look for opportunities to serve, even in the smallest ways, of acts of anchoring love and light into the lives of others. Sacred rituals. Create rituals or ceremonies, no matter how simple, to anchor the energies into the physical space or intention. Hold space for the transition. For transition. In times of global personal change, consciously hold space for others by remaining calm, balanced, and focused on unity and love. Conclusion. Anchoring is the art of being, bringing the infinite to the finite, turning the abstract energies of love and light into tangible realities in our everyday lives. It connects us to the core vibration of the Creator and stabilizes us, individuals, communities, and the planet during times of change. By consciously anchoring love, compassion, and unity, we become channels for divine energy, contributing to the healing and evolution of both ourselves and the collective. Whether through humble acts of service or grand planetary work, anchoring allows us to fulfill our spiritual purpose one moment at a time.
Great reading. Thanks, Adam. All right. Did you want to discuss any of those parts? I guess I should have said like you could stop at any point if you wanted to discuss it further, but you just kind of plowed on through. It's all good though.
I feel like we've exhausted this topic.
You feel we've exhausted this topic? Yeah, it's like every angle of anchoring that's ever been mentioned in the Confederation material. So you understand anchoring now? Go ahead, Fred.
I find it interesting how they described it as stepping down the voltage, because I have gotten myself into the state of overwhelm from either meditation or a practice or something that you're doing where you actually get physically overwhelmed, and when that happens you can't think, you can't reason properly. You're too concentrated on the physicality of it. So my question is, who decides that?
Who decides what?
When you're getting an overwhelm of energy, who decides, oh shit, this guy's gonna pop a breaker if we don't step down the voltage?
I think that particular thing was like that Hatan channeling was one of the early channelings. It was from 1985. And so maybe it was a new channel that they were trying, and so they didn't want to overwhelm the channel. So it was the person, it was Hatan that decided that they were feeling this channel, and they were like, hey, this is a really new channel and they can't handle too much throughput, so we gotta take it easy on this new channel. That's what I think. If you want, we can look at the session.
So what happens if you do get overloaded?
Then I guess you go have a nap. That's what I do when I get overloaded. I don't know about you guys. I guess some people get really upset because they're overtired, and then they get cranky like a baby or like a little toddler. I don't know if you're familiar with overtired children.
I have 4 of them.
Yeah, they're overtired all at once. Well, yeah. Well, what do you call it? We were actually at a Mennonite Christmas special yesterday And like I wouldn't be surprised if some kids were retired after that one, because I think when we left it was like 9:30 or something, or not like 9 o'clock or something, but everyone else was still partying hard. Well, in the Mennonite style, that means like they were having snacks and fun socials, after a night of singing and watching the kids perform a play about Bible stories. So, anyhow,
Yeah,
those.
when I was, what I think of when I think of overload is when I have been in a meditation and I will get a sharp tinnitus pain and a sharp pinging in my, I mean, it's like somebody stuck a hat pin in your ear and it's painful. It breaks your concentration, snaps you out of the meditation, but it's actually kind of, when that happens, the last time that it happened, I and I can't remember who said something. It might have been Ed or anyone, but somebody said, when you get something like that, just ask them to tone it down. Say, hey, that's too much. Turn it down a little bit. And you know what? That actually worked. And
Wow.
because I never realized the symptoms of getting things. I've had ear ringing my whole life and tinnitus most of my life, so ear ringing is nothing new to me. But to get assaulted like that, it's intense. It can be intense. I get that, but what I'm okay, like what you're talking about, you're basically describing like social overload protection, where, and I don't know what I'm supposed. Everybody, I'm sure, is at a different level, but just like today, we had our Christmas party at work. I'm literally looking for an opportunity to get the heck away from these people. I want to leave. I want to go. I don't want to be socializing with these people. It's not that I don't like them. I like all those people. I just don't like the energy of those interactions. It makes me, you feel gross. I don't know how to describe it.
I totally understand what you mean.
But is that a symptom of that same process where you're tripping a circuit breaker and you're going, hey, you're getting overloaded. You need to back up.
Oh, did we lose Ashley? Oh. Well, basically what I was thinking was that would be more a symptom of that your vibration is not compatible with that particular group, and that you should be seeking a different group that is more compatible. That's usually what that means to me. Like, because I know I've been like, I go to this Mennonite church, and like it's great. The vibrations are great. The people are so nice and friendly. They got happy families. They're functional happy families. Hey, welcome back, Ashley.
Hi,
Hey,
Ashley.
Hey.
sorry, I was trying to. When I do my phone, I have to play around with the link a little bit. Actually,
Okay.
forgot about that we were having a meetup today, but I'm glad I
Okay.
remembered.
We're having a Christmas party Monday too.
Oh, cool.
There's a Christmas party?
Yeah. Didn't you see Desiree posted it in the group?
Oh, okay. Well, I think I have work on Monday, so I don't know. But is it in the evening? I could do it in the evening.
I think she said 8 p.m.
Yeah, I could probably swing that.
Nice. We'll have
Mhm.
everybody. It's snowing so much.
On Christmas Eve,
Oh,
as people call it.
really?
Yeah, well, the December 23rd.
Okay, let me show you. Let me see.
Oh boy.
That's snowing. Yeah. Where
Yeah.
are you?
I'm in Mount Laurel. I don't know if that rings any bells. It's New Jersey.
Oh,
It's
in New
where
Jersey.
it's where the drones are.
Oh, it's where the drones are. Oh, is that why you're
Yes.
there?
No, I just happen to live here around the,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Happen to live there. Okay.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so
You
funny.
attracted
You
those
live.
drones, didn't you?
I
Well,
hope
it's so
not.
funny
Positive
that
vibrations.
she lives in New Jersey, and another lady in our high vibe group, she lives in North Carolina, right near where all the drones and the orbs are seeing. And then Tabitha, she lives out west, where all, well, she's in California, but they have a lot
Yeah.
of phenomenon out there. So there's
And
Eh,
and I live not far from where the American military invaded Canadian airspace to shoot down a drone.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Trudeau let them because he's a
Okay.
big pushover. But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like your shades.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. They're what are those called? Blue blockers. Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I got them
smart.
for $3 on Temu. Robert's
Oh.
favorite website.
Don't mention Timu.
Yeah, basically. Actually, I didn't know about it until he started talking about it. I was like, I gotta have to check that out.
They have a lot of cool science stuff. Like you can buy Tesla coil kits, circuit design kits,
Yeah, I got
medical
all this stuff.
pro grade, like magnets and all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been really fleshing out my IT kit for making things like automation kits and
Mhm.
stuff like that. All right. Yeah, we were just talking about anchoring, and we have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Anyone have any?
Tardy to the party.
Does anyone have any questions or anything they would like to share or comment on? So yeah, so we were talking about, I was talking about the Mennonites and the good vibrations there. Yeah. I don't know.
What was the general topic like?
So we covered, it was a potluck today because there's no new sessions out. And so we started, Dan was asking about the banishing ritual, and so we read
Mhm.
some about that. And then Fred asked about forgiveness, and so we did a deep dive on that. And then Adam asked about anchoring, and so we read everything about anchoring, and now he seems satisfied that he's familiar
Okay.
with the topic.
Cool.
Yeah.
we were all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. That's fun when you can just bounce from topic to topic and get a full range in.
Oh, I
Well,
heard you. Go ahead.
it shows you how the human mind bounces around, from one side. Okay, well, if this is this way, then what about that? And it shows the flow of your psychology. So, sometimes reading a book in order isn't always called for, I guess.
For sure. I think that there's a method to the madness. Like there's certain connections that we're making even if we don't see it externally. Sometimes it comes back later on. I don't know if you've noticed that.
So,
Oh, yeah.
so actually, I heard you have a Thursday group now. Did you want to
I've
tell us about it?
I've had the Thursday group for at least, oh man, maybe 2 years now.
2 years. Whoa! I know.
But I didn't know you yet during that time frame, and then I took over for Sashi because she started them, but her format was a little different. than mine, and I just felt called to do it the way that I do it.
Mhm.
So it's been going on a while. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there's
I
a
don't
Really?
reason.
think I remember. I don't think I remember Sashi doing any group meetings when I first joined you guys. I don't remember. I remember her barely being in the group, but I've always remembered you doing that. Wow, one meetings.
Right. This would be way before we would meet that Sashi did them. She did them for maybe, I want to say, a couple of months,
Oh.
and then just a couple of months. And then I
Mhm.
stepped in because that was kind of around the time that I found my own connection with the law of one material and was having a lot of experiences. And I'm just like, I want to do this. So
Mhm.
I guess I've been hosting the sessions much longer uh, than her, but the group was around way before even me. Sashi's had it up for a long time. And what we do is we started by going through vocabulary and kind of like really understanding what each of the terms means. So that way, when we read the passages, people aren't lost in raw jargon. They'd have a foundation. And then now we're in the study index, in the Teaching the Law of One guide, where we go from, they've got A through Z in there, and we've started from A, where all of the points that they highlight is, different session points. Maybe it's like right now we're in beingness, but then they have points on the LBRP, on ascension, on ball lightning. And so we just go to the session point, we read it, we discuss it, and then whatever comes to mind related, people can ask questions. And I like that format. It gives us structure, but not too much structure.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I know. We started out these sessions in a similar way. Well, actually, I started doing these like they were like topic based, and we would do the we did the rays, the all the rays, and then we did
Mm-hmm.
several other ones, and then Desiree's group came along, and so I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of joining that one because I would only have like 2 or 3 people on mine, and
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of at the Desiree meetings, I guess I was doing a lot of talking or something. I don't know. And then Desiree had to go somewhere. She got like a job on Friday nights or something, and then
Okay.
so I ended up being the host for most of them for the last, I don't know, like a year, or I don't know how long
Wow.
it's been. Yeah. But apparently there's going to be a reunion on Monday because I guess she doesn't work Monday nights. So
Yeah, that'll be nice. I know that you guys were together and having sessions for quite a while. I came in probably towards the end where she was about to leave because I only remember her attending, being there just like two or three times when I was there. So I kind of missed getting to know her even more. But from what I have experienced, she's very, you know, grounded in her understandings and very sincere in her seeking.
hmm yeah, I know she said that we actually all showed up at the same time, like me,
Yeah,
Fred, and Ed, and
all of
Oh.
us.
Adam and Robert. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
that was really strange because it's one of my things with, and this has always been, I guess, like a deep in the back of my mind, fear is
Mm-hmm.
when you go out into these spiritual groups, the lack of community is just highly prevalent. There's no, you know, physical community, and the community online is just so
Like
it's really
scattered?
easy. Yeah, not just scattered, but it's really easy to get into a group where negativity is prevalent.
I
And I
gotcha.
saw that immediately. I actually got kicked out of a Law 1 group. The first comment I made on one of their pages, because they're kind of like the Borg, like you had to ask a question in an exact way. And I said, "Hey, do you guys have meetings?" And then boom, I'm kicked out. You know,
What?
What?
so I'm like, what the hell?
What
So
in the
I
world?
I just all of it for some reason I gravitated towards this group with Desiree and everyone in here, and it seemed like every single one of us that has stuck together
Mhm.
gravitated at almost the exact same, like within a 2 or 3 week period, all of us just kind of conglomerated, and
Mhm.
it's really, I was not surprised at first because I didn't realize what was happening. But
Yeah.
actually,
Same.
hindsight, looking back, going, there is no way that this group of us came together by just chance,
Accident.
by
Yeah.
the
Right.
the probability of that is zero. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really fascinating, and I've done nothing but met more and more and more really awesome people. Then I found the high vibe group where Ashley's from. I can't even remember. I think it was, well, it was one of you guys that said, "Oh, are you in any CE5s?" Do or no, it was Desiree. Desiree was talking about her CE5 groups that she's in, and I'm like, "What the hell is CE5?" So
Wow.
I started looking around CE5 groups, and then I found the High Vibe group, and I saw you guys had a Law of One class, and I'm like, oh, it all goes together. Okay, so I joined you guys' group, and I I've had nothing but, well, I wouldn't say nothing, but I've had a tremendous amount of positive experience, and it's really been awesome. I don't think that there's any way that there's any chance that it was an accident. That's for sure.
Yeah. As
Mhm.
all of that seems to have been like the magnetic effect of people with connections that go beyond this incarnation. You know, like
Yeah.
I definitely feel like we have an identity where we knew each other before and we're seeking each other again because we know that when we get together and we meet, our law of squares is that much more intensified because of our prior density connections.
Mhm. I know, like for me, like I've been doing my daily prayer for years,
Mm-hmm.
and like invoking the Confederation of Planets. And so like every time I invoke them, in my daily prayer, they usually like give me a brief comment. And like
Ooh.
for a while they were like, you should really join a group. Like you're all like just doing this yourself. And so that's when I started like looking for groups, and then I found the Love and Light one with like Josh. And well,
Yeah.
actually the first one I found with John, with Jonathan, and it was the Jim was supposed to be speaking that date, but there was some kind of scheduling conflict, and
Mm-hmm.
so they ended up just talking to me instead. And so it was great because, like, yeah, during that time it was a very difficult time for me because, well, I had been kicked out of like most of the churches in town for
Oh.
talking about Jesus, which apparently isn't allowed.
Mm.
So,
That's odd.
um, yeah, well, it's because it's considered a threat to if you know more than the pastor or whatever. But the Mennonites don't
Oh, okay.
care because for them it's their family. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
multi-generational. Like no one is a threat to them because they've been there for like
I
hundreds of
gotcha.
years. you know
Well,
uh
plus their pastorate is elected. That
y-
pastor did not wake up one day and said, "You know what? I'm going to go to school and become go to theological seminary and become a pastor."
yeah,
That's
you're
not
right.
how it happens. He said,
Exactly.
uh, "Here, draw a straw. Oh, you're the pastor now.
Yes,
Okay."
exactly.
So
That's
it's a
also
lot
Oh.
less threatening because you have there's no room for ill intention. to be put into
I
it.
see.
Nobody's becoming a pastor because they want money or because they want status or fame or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's true. 100%. Yeah, I know, and it's
I
often the
gotcha.
most humble people.
I think
that
that's a
become-
good way to go about it.
Mhm. Like they elected like they have a bishop. The bishop, he was a while ago, like a long time before me, and then their first pastor was also before me. But then their second pastor, I saw the process, and the process was that they had a call for nominations, and then they were like, if the spirit is leading you, give us a name of who you think would make a good pastor, and then they picked the top 3 names, and then they the deacon went into like the side room, and he put like a Bible verse
Mhm.
into a songbook. Like they had 3 songbooks, and he put it in one of them and like shuffled them around, and then he put them on the table, and then as the people felt led, they got up and they picked a songbook, and then like when all 3 had picked their songbook, they all opened it to the correct song, and then the person who had the Bible verse in it became the new pastor. And what happened in this case was that the most humble guy became the pastor, uh, like someone who,
Wow.
and yeah, so who like I'd never heard him talk before, and like I think he still struggles with
Was he
feel
accepting?
worthiness. Well, he accepted the
Was he like
nomination.
accepting?
What do you mean accepting? Uh,
Could you
like
tell that there was an air of him maybe being glad for the opportunity, or more like, sure, I'll do it, but I'm not really feeling called?
I would say it's more like a feeling of why me?
Aha, makes
Why
sense.
couldn't it be someone else? And I don't deserve this, and things like this.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, so he's been kind of struggling with it. But I think that what God intended is that it would be of greatest service to him, because the other 2 guys were already doing pretty well, like spiritually speaking, they
Hmm.
were already doing pretty well. And so this guy has the most room to grow, and he also, through that journey, he can share that journey with the people, and as he goes through that journey, he can share that journey from the pulpit, though I haven't heard him speak in a while, so I don't know what's happening with that, but he did do at least a few sermons, um, and he did
Okay.
fun ones too. Like one time he did a sermon on on a toy tractor,
Hmm.
and then another time he did a sermon where he was hiding. And then like people were like, where'd he go?
Oh my goodness.
And it was like a sermon on patience, or something like this, but maybe it was about something else, or expectations. So he does like what's called object lessons. So it's fun that way. And then another
Yeah.
thing, a really great thing, probably one of the greatest gifts that he's given our church, is Bible study groups. So one of his first sermons, he was like, "What if we were all to like split like the church in half?" And then was like, "Well, obviously that's not going to happen." And so he actually set up Bible study groups, and so each of us gets to be in a group of like 20 or so people, because it's a huge church, and
Hmm.
then we really get to go in depth on the Bible on certain passages, and like everyone, each Bible study group does the same passages, but in their own groups. And so I've really gotten to connect with certain, the people in my Bible study group. So that's been nice. Mhm.
It sounds
The
nice.
the one thing I noticed about the Mennonite communities is they like to favor their younger pastors.
Yeah. So they actually believe in succession. Like on a lot of the kind of the Protestant or even the Catholic, it's often like the pastor or the bishop is a really old dude But when the Mennonites or the Amish get old, they're like, okay, it's time to retire. Give it to the young people. I don't have the energy for this anymore. And they do. And then they're there to help coach them through. And that is actually really good succession planning. Because, yeah, the pastors are, most of them, well, both the pastors are in their 30s or early 40s. And then the bishop, I think, is maybe in his 50s. But then, like, yeah, but it's an ongoing process, and like, yeah, after they get to like retirement age, they just like hand it off to a younger generation. So it's
Yeah,
good
I
that way.
just it was really strange in the church that I was in during my marriage. We went to a Nazarene church, and we were the youngest people there. We're the only people having children there. Everyone was retirement age or older. Some people in their 80s and 90s, and they had me teaching the Bible study class, and it was just so strange to be someone in your 20s and early 30s teaching a class to people that are in their 80s.
Yeah.
And there were they loved it. They loved the class, and they always said, that they learned something. There was always learning going on. So it was just, it was kind of a shock for me because I had never seen that growing up when I was a kid. When I went to the Baptist church, you never saw that. The youngest person that did any teaching was usually a youth pastor, somebody in their 20s or 30s that would be teaching the kids, but you never saw a young pastor. There was the youngest pastor we would ever have had would have been in their 50s. So it was bizarre to not only see it, but to get thrown into the middle of it. And I'm like, I didn't know this was even possible or probable. And then people are saying, we love you doing this. We love the way you do this, whatever. And so that kind of broke a lot of stereotypes just in that aspect of, because like in the Law 1 communities and the C5 communities, there's people of every single age that teaches. There's people in their 20s, there's people in their 70s, and just what it did, I think, was it made it very apparent to me to not be judgmental of someone because of their age when they are relaying information, because someone can have a far more seasoned understanding of a subject because of their predisposition, maybe their upbringing, and maybe just their own drive for diving into the understanding. Whereas somebody who's maybe dabbled in it their whole life hasn't really grasped basic concepts, and I've seen that happen. It's I've watched it around me. So I think that was very important for me to experience that for that reason.
Yeah, I just wanted to relate how the Mennonites do the Sunday school is actually that any member can apply to or volunteer to be a Bible study facilitator. And so, and well, at least in this church, all of our Bible study material is from Christian Light, which is a homeschool provider. But and so basically the person reads it beforehand, the facilitator, so they know what it's about, and then they go to the front, and then they might give like a 5 to 10 minute spiel on it, and then they open it up, and like we read the passages together, and it's like, what do you guys think, or like they might lead with questions and be like, what do you think about this part, and who thinks, or they may have some personal questions about it. And then it's about getting that audience engagement, and then everyone is kind of like worshiping the Lord together and giving their own reflections on it. And so it's just this beautiful kind of social memory complex cohesion going on there. I know Kyle, who's that like super new pastor. One time he during his sermon, he started it saying, that Sunday school was so great, I have half a mind to just cancel the sermon and say we're going back to Sunday school. So Yeah, he said, well, I guess I could do that, but but I won't do that because I'm expected to do this sermon. But anyways, it was great. Anyways, on that note, I still have a bunch of things to do today, so
Okay.
I'm
Thank you
gonna
for
close
spending
this.
the extra time.
Mhm. And then you guys can stay in chat if you want. Okay. So as I found you, I leave you in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. Go forth therefore rejoicing in the power and in the peace, the infinite power and the infinite peace of the one infinite creator, the one within you, my friends. Adonai Vasabragos. All right.
Adonai.
The stream is
Thank
ended.
you.
Good night, Andrii.